As you see, I have accounting colleagues talking about what's new in accounting. Um, but on my part, I will almost not talk about accounting. All right, let's get going. More than 450. What do you think that is? That is an estimate of how many ads we see per day. This is a very low-key estimate. I've seen some website claim is what up to 10,000, but still quite a lot. And it's a game that, as a company, we've been playing as well as Odoo. You've probably saw quite a few of our billboards, right? So when we say more than 400 ads, a lot of those are virtual, for example, on social media, etc. But some are physical, like those ones. Maybe you've seen those. Well, what we're going to talk about today is actually let's see how we can manage such a company that runs billboards and that thus needs to record the different costs and revenues linked to this activity. My name is Luc Nellis. I work as a product owner, and this is the first talk about the industry cases. You'll see that maybe there's a surprise you didn't expect. So I have a QR code and a link here. If you want to ask questions, I invite you to write them there. And at the end of the talk, I will show the QR code again, and we'll go through the different questions. All right, let's get started. So first, industries. This is, and actually I'm very happy because for once I can spoil Fabien's presentations. Normally he's the one showing the features before the talks. Now I can do it for him. Industry is one of the biggest changes that we will introduce in Odoo with the new version. It's this idea of providing packages to companies that work in a specific industry so that they can get started very quick. I can show you quickly how it looks like. So this is actually odoo.com. You see that we have already quite a few packages. The goal is to have as many as possible and to have a coverage that's as complete as possible of all the different businesses that could work with Odoo. So you see we have from hair salon, lawyer, surveyor, cake shop, etc., etc. Those are all available for free, and you'll be able to load them on your Odoo Online database with just a click to get started. So the idea is what? Is that we want to provide a way for you to get started really quickly. If you've been using Odoo for a while or implementing it for customers, you know that it can do basically anything and can help a lot of businesses. But it's true that when it's your first steps into the software, sometimes you're not sure that it fits your activity or your industry. The goal of industry modules is to tackle just that, is to be sure that if you work in a restaurant, an hair salon, or if you handle billboards, you can for sure just load this package and get everything you need to get started. When I say everything you need, it regroups a lot of things. We'll prepare, for example, some configuration for you, some things that we think are relevant for you to work, some data, for example, some basic products that we know you will use. So everything that could be configured, we're doing it for you as much as possible so that you can really get started. We even go further, of course, every company has different needs. We add some customization for you as well. So if you work in a specific business with specific needs, we need to tweak Odoo a bit so that it does fit what you need. We also add automated actions, some page views, some code, etc. A lot of things so that really you have something that out of the box supports your business and your needs. Now, what you won't find mostly in those industry packages are, I would say, heavy development. So, for example, some heavy integrations with external softwares that are related to a specific industry. Those you won't find. But the rest, the basic flows, you will have those. The idea is that I used to work as a consultant. We always say Odoo, with a bit of tweaking, can handle like 80% of the needs of all companies. Well, this is what we're showing here with those packages. You just install the package, get rolling, and that's it. So two objectives with that. The first is really to provide a quick way to get started for new customers that are just giving a try to Odoo and don't know what it actually does. You may remember that with the new pricing now, you can have as many apps as possible, but There are cases where you don't know an app exists. Well, with this package, we'll install the app for you and configure it for you so that you're ready. It's also very cool if you're a consultant and implementing it for a customer, because it means that you go really quickly from 0 to 60%, for example. The rest can just be completed later, but at least you can really quick start the project. You know, this customer is, for example, a nail salon. Well, let's jump to that module, install it. We already have a database that can be worked with. Um, and also, that's maybe for bigger projects, but I used to see this as well. Shadow databases. That is when you have a big customer, usually a big company, and they're not sure that Odoo fits their needs, so they want to give it a quick shot. And what they do usually is they keep working on their production database in another system, but at the same time, they also work with Odoo to see if, well, all the daily things they have to do, if Odoo can do it or not. Normally, it takes time to set that up. Now you just install the module of that industry and you can get rolling. On top of that, if you want, so not if you're going to use it as a production database, but if you're going to use that for demos, we can also provide some demo data, which is interesting, for example, to get some reportings, some flows, etc. If it's the database you're going to use for your business, we won't create fake invoices. But if it's just to have a look at if Odoo can handle your industry, then it's even better to have some so that you can play around. So, that being said, today we'll have a look at billboards, and if you check the agenda, you'll see we have quite a few other industries planned. So billboards, the first question when I say let's manage billboards, the first question you may have would be like, why would I care? Because I'm not in this industry, I'm not in this business, why would it be relevant? Well, actually, the idea with industry packages is that you can also take a step back and think how it could be related to your own business. Because after all, a billboard is something, right, that has a location with some technical details and a status. Is it available or not? If you see it like this, instead of as a specific billboard, you see that, well, if you maybe rent pizza vending machines or photo booths, etc., it's quite close. So instead of starting from scratch, if you start from an industry that's related, where the needs are close, you can just tweak it and have your own package. And then what we're going to do here, what's crucial with this business, is the idea of, well, we actually rent the places where we put our billboards, we actually have a lot of costs, etc. And in exchange, we get subscriptions, revenues, because some people pay to have their brand displayed, right? So the goal here is to be able to see, well, which, based on those billboards that we have, are they bringing money or making us lose money? Okay, so let's have a quick look. As I said, you can always install those. They're already on the app menu here, but I have a database ready with my own data. So once you install the module, you get, as I said, already some apps, customizations, etc. What you also get, to make sure that it's easy for you to get started, is a tutorial. So we create for you an article in Knowledge that will help you understand what we prepared for you, the different flows that are planned, and how this is going to help you with your business. Which means that you don't need to check or look around for another documentation. It's just right here in your database. If you want to play with it and tweak it a bit, it's all right. This is an article that's your own. So if you want to modify those or maybe take the things that you tried, you can as well. So the main flows we'll have a look at here are the new contract phase, creating the request and the subscriptions, recording your bills, right, the costs that we talked about, and then have a quick overview of those billboards, because this is what we strive for, is be able to have this overview. Okay. I will start from the very scratch. I will start really from the beginning of the flow. As a billboard company, I use the CRM. I receive different kind of requests. Some customers, they saw a phone number on a billboard and they call and they say, I want this one and I want to have my brand here. Others, for example, are not that sure because they just need to invest. They need some advertisement, but they don't know exactly where would be best. So what we do, for example, with the CRM is we can just add a column, and this is an example of data that we add for you called territory research. So if there needs to be some research, it could be done at this stage with the sales rep helping the customer. Let's create a new lead, and let's imagine this is for Odoo. Odoo is thinking about investing into some billboards for the Odoo experience, for example. Okay, we have the lead. Then you probably, if you've played around with Odoo, you know sort of the drill. It goes from stages to stage. Maybe it will go to this one, maybe not. We track the time it spends in each stage, which is interesting. If afterwards you want to see which part of the process is the bottleneck. But at some point, you're going to have to send them a proposition, right? You're going to have to send a quote. And for that, I just do it here. This is an example of something specific for this industry. You need to pick the billboard you are trying to sell. And those here are lists of your billboards that are available based on which one are already taken by other subscriptions or not. Let's say I pick this one. Then I need to pick the quotation templates. This is data that you will get. For example, I say short term. This configuration allows me to all of a sudden see quite a few things. First, I get the recurring plan, I get products, and I get the basic terms and conditions about what you can display or not, the payments, etc. This is because it's been configured on the quotation templates. Let's say this is a monthly subscription for until the end of January. We picked here the number 7, so I can just imagine, confirm once I get the go from the customer. So I had 2 lines on my quotation templates. The first one, launch a subscription, right? The second one is because, well, I need to send an operator with a truck so that they put the display on the billboard. So Odoo created for me a task, and I'm waiting for it to be done before I can invoice the customer. If I jump to the task from here, you see that indeed it's been linked to the right billboard, and I know I need to install it. You see also that I have a worksheet template. We'll see what it means after. So as the guy working for the company, I go there. And let's imagine, I'll do it here so that we don't jump screen. Let's say, well, I've been allocated an hour. Well, good luck. I did it in an hour. All good. This is my timesheet. It will be pushed to the sale order, meaning that if I go back to the sale order, I will see it. But first, let's fill in the worksheet. So this is part of the field service features. When I jump into here, I get a custom form that our workers need to fill whenever they work on those. For example, they need to check if the frame's still robust. Is there any tree hiding the picture? Are all lights working? Okay, any comment? Check tree on the left. And then what's nice to be sure that the job has been done correctly would be to send a picture. So let's say this is the final result, okay? You have the picture taken from the employee. Now, if I go back to the order, we see a few things. First, we see my service has been marked as delivered, so that's very good. You see my hour here has been recorded. And if you want, we can also have a look at what the customer will receive, so the document that they will receive. So this is the usual code, and at the end of it, I get my worksheet. So that on the document they get, they already have the checklist from the employee, and then even the picture. This is an example of how you can work with worksheets with the FSM apps. Okay, so that's pretty good. I now sold it. I can actually leave the CRM, and I can actually have a look at my billboard here. This is a menu that we added. It's just a shortcut to those billboards. You see, those are my billboards. Number 7 is here. And this is where I will have everything gathering. So what we could do, for example, would be to invoice, right? Now that we have the service and the subscription running. This is what will increase my revenues, right? Because if I don't have the revenue yet, it's not ready. You see that here I have a start and end date. So I will get deferred entries so that my revenues are not stacked at the specific moment, but rather spread along the different months. And now if I go back to the billboard, I should see it's bringing me some money. So that's good. Now, life is not just about winning money, it's also about losing some. So let's add some bills. I have two types of bills. Let's create the first one. The first one is quite simple. It's, for example, the city of Brussels. Well, the places where I put the billboards, I don't owe them. I rent this land so that I can put my billboards on them. So sometimes they send me some land lease invoices for the different billboards. So for example, here it's for number 7, for the place where it stands. It's, for example, for a few months. There you go. And let's say I need to pay this amount. Okay? What we are doing all the time is making sure that whenever we win or lose money, we say to which billboard it's related to. I will have to put a bill date. Let's put it there and there. There we go. Okay. Again, same idea. This is a land lease for different months. I don't want to have a big spike in my margin analysis. I want to have different entries. Odoo will take care of that for me and will post those entries whenever needed. If I go, no, before that, let's add another invoice. Let's say I received a bill from my supplier. This is for the electricity, right? Because the billboards, they need to have some lights on. Otherwise, nobody sees it at night. So when I have this invoice, I can just add the product energy bill, and I have an analytic distribution ready, all right? Which will take all my billboards and spread the expense among those. Because this $50, it's not just for one panel, it's spread among the different panels. And I really want to keep track of all my costs and revenues. Okay, I do that. I confirm. I need to put a bill date. And there we go. So different kinds of expenses. Some are specific to one billboard. Some are spread among, for example, a network of billboards. Both are okay. And when I check the billboard now, you see the situation has changed, right? Because now, when I open it, we can have a look. We see that my billboard has an address, right? It's located somewhere. We see the plan that is used. We see the subscription. It's in progress, meaning the billboard is busy, and nobody can put something on top of that picture. From there, I have the shortcuts for everything related to that billboard, including the margin. And you see that for now, we are losing some money. The reason is that, well, we paid a land lease for quite a few months back while we just started making money with this panel because the subscription just started. Now, if you have a network of billboards, and this is why it's interesting to have addresses, you will want to, for example, put different references about this billboard. For example, its size, its frame, etc. So this is an example of the customization that's been done. What's interesting is that, well, those are a network, and if I go visit a customer, for example, I may want to show, like, this is the network that we have. So we added a map view here, where you can have a quick look at, for example, all your billboards. So here they are, they each have an address, so they can be geolocated. And if the customer says, this one seems interesting, I have the details displayed here, right? The frame, the width, the height. If I want to open it, I can. If we need to check it, for example, in Google Maps, it's available. When I click here, I see that this one, for example, has already had quite a few churns, but for now, it's available. So if the customer wants to put an ad there, it could be done. Something else that could be interesting, you see we have, well, the list here to have a quick overview, but we can also have a quick look at the different subscriptions. And I like to use the GAN view here because I don't have this many billboards to manage. You see a bit the situation here of which billboard, when they will be available, which again is quite convenient if I have to negotiate with a customer or just show the catalog of things that we can have. What's really fancy as well is that you can just make the subscriptions longer manually like this if you want. But the idea is mainly to have an overview. Okay, so we did cover quite a lot of ground. Let's have a look in the tutorial. So we saw in the billboard here, we saw that we have the ability to, from the CRM, create quotations. We have a stage if needed, if some research should be done about the territory. Then the quotations with the quotation templates, which means we get the service automatically added as well as the terms and conditions. Then we create an installation request. So that's the task where someone knows, okay, I need to go there and put the picture of Odoo on top of that billboard with an automation rule so that it's right at the place where you need it. Again, from Odoo, from the sale order, you have access to everything, including the timesheets that will be added once the operation has been done. And then in terms of bills, two types of bills. It could be specific to one billboard, or it can be spread among different billboards. Both work, and those are the example of configuration you will get when you install the module. Finally, and that's the main added value of doing all this, I can have a clear sight of my billboards. You see that, well, some are, for example, bringing money, some are not. Some are bringing a lot of money, some it's because they're brand new, etc., etc. By regrouping everything there with the different flows that we've been doing, I make sure that I keep track of those. Okay. Okay, so that was the main idea. So as a recap, this is just an example of one industry package. There will be a lot of talks about other packages. So if you have something that fits your business, or maybe could fit because it's quite similar, I really encourage you to first see the talk because they're going to be interesting, and then give them a spin. It's all available on odoo.com. I'll wait a few seconds in case you have a few questions. You see I have the QR code that should be somewhere there above my head, as well as the link. We'll wait a few seconds, and then if there's any question, we can tackle those.
Thank you, Luke. Really good presentation.
Thank you.
And this is very interesting, the template as well. And we have some questions here from the audience. So please use the QR code for those that want to do some questions. And the first question that we have, Luke, is it possible to use this template to other rental companies?
Yeah, so as I said, here we needed to pick a specific industry, so we picked billboards. But if you rent vending machines that make pizza, I mean, it's sort of the same. You will want to locate them on the map, make sure that they make you earn money, and then keep track of which one is available if they need to be moved around, for example. Yeah.
Well, that's very interesting because many industry can use as well the same template.
Yeah.
And look, which industries will be possible to manage with Odoo?
Well, the question is really which one we won't cover because we really want to be everywhere. You see here it's the first list. There's a bit of everything, and we'll keep adding some during during this version because we really want to be sure that, for example, here, if you are a bar and you want to start Odoo, instead of starting from a new database and wonder, okay, where do I start? If you can straight away open a database and have your products and just start selling, it makes you understand that, well, this can actually support your business. Yeah.
That's very interesting. So we have hair salon, lawyer, non-profit organization, certification
club, for
adult.
example. And each time they have different needs, so they have different apps configured with different data, etc. So for example, this one use appointments so that you can book some fields. This some will be more about e-commerce, etc., etc.
That's great. Thank you, Luke. That's all for the questions for today. Thank you for everyone that has joined the Luke's talk.
Thank you.
Thank you.